G'day viewers, welcome to the Glossop line, or GLS as I've been calling it for the last 6 months. I've been allowed to bring this to you 24 hours before release thanks to the generosity of Dovetail Games. So, buckle up, let's go have a look at the Glossop line. It's also known as the Gossip line, I believe, by the locals. We're currently in Manchester, Piccadilly, and we've got a Northern Livery 323 sitting over here that we'll have a bit of a closer look at. The station itself is quite amazing, but maybe let's have a look at the route map first. Now, Glossop, whatever, is actually a fairly short route, but it's also priced accordingly. It's priced as a short route, and also for the fact that you probably already got the 323. And there are launch discounts as well if you have the 323 from Birmingham on the various platforms. Okay, so what have we got in the route? We have Manchester Piccadilly. We have Ardwick. Ardwick is a very unused station on this route. I think one train a day stops there from memory, so you won't see a lot of people on Ardwick. Then we have Ashburys, Gorton, Fairfield, Guidebridge. Then there's a bit of a long run to Hyde North, Flowery Field, Newton for Hyde, Godley, Hattersley, Broadbottom. And then we've got the unique triangle down the bottom of Dinting, Hadfield and Glossop. And it's a bit unique because you come in one way, some services go to Hadfield, some go to Glossop, then you change ends, run around the back of Dinting Station and go to the other one. So it's a bit unique. We haven't really had a route like that before. We've just jumped onto a Hadfield train out of Guidebridge and we're riding along. You can see on the PIS up on the roof there, but it says, welcome aboard this service to Hadfield. That will cycle around a set of messages to tell you what your next station is. So there we are, next station is Flowery Field. When you arrive in stations, it tells you what station you're at. So let's just jump up and go for a little bit of a wander. We do have the pseudo guard mode that was introduced on Birmingham, where you can key into the panels if you desire, and you can do your local open and close of the doors. You've got to be pretty quick because keying in doesn't stop the AI from doing it. So you need to be quite on the ball if you want to roleplay as a guard. The good news is there is a proper guarding scenario in this one. Of course, the toilets are fully functional. Better give that number a call and let them know that 72217. Not the best toilet in the world. Let's pop up in the cab, go and visit our AI driver. Who is wearing the Northern Trains livery. Or uniform, I should say. It's not really a livery when it's on a driver. As we head into Flowery Field, you can, should you desire to, sit on the second man's seat and have a bit of a look around and see what's happening. G'day mate, how are we going? The second man's seat is rather low point of view, so get used to that. In the guard scenario, you get to use this seat a bit. So at Flowery Field we will hop out. I'll just prepare to go and do that now. All these people in their Dovetail uniforms. Clearly a lot of Dovetail employees ride this train. Another train on the other platform behind us. Don't worry about the sounds you just heard. Jump out here when the driver opens the doors. There we go. And just run up to the front and watch the train go. So you can get a bit of a feel for the 323 livery. There's an active PIS on the front. And we say goodbye to number 323-239. Alrighty, that's your brief intro to the 323. Signature station on the Glossop line is Manchester Piccadilly. Let's just have a quick look around. We have got platforms for the northern services which run across this side of the station. The lighting in this station is quite nice. I really like the shadow effects cast by all those overhead girders that are holding up the roof. So you'll see plenty of northern services. You will see the occasional guest appearance from 158s from the Midland main line. Most of the people come in through these portals at the ends of the station. Just walk across here sideways so you get a bit of an idea of what Manchester is like. Now, Manchester features escalators that you can go up and down, but you can't go up and down the elevators, unfortunately. You do have these travelators that you can wander along. They don't move, but you can quite happily use them. There's not much point going up to that one, though, because it just goes up to a door that you can't go through. I think we might be seeing another northern service out there on the outside platforms. So let's just quickly race out here and have a look at these platforms. There you go. There's another Northern Line service sitting here, which is going to Blackpool North, apparently. So these are AI-only services. You can't actually drive these ones. So we have the indoor portion and the outer portion. They're on different lines. And if you've got it loaded, you'll spot the occasional 158 from Midland Main Line turning up in here as well. Alright, so this is Manchester Piccadilly. First time in the game. Even though there's only a couple of hundred services on this short route, because they run quite often, it does feel fairly busy in Manchester Piccadilly, so it's got a decent feel to the station. You know, viewers, we're at Hyde North on this fine sunny morning at 10 AM because I wanted to show you the collectibles. Let's just have a quick look. First up, we've got these ladybug flower pots. So they're kind of cute. And you just wander up and you end up with flowers. Kind of cool. And if we come wandering down here towards the end of this platform, see our standard sort of route maps that we've come to enjoy. This one runs Manchester Piccadilly, Ardwick, Ashbury's, Gorton, Fairfield, Guide Bridge, which is where we are, Flowery Field, Newton for Hyde, Godley, Hattersley, Broadbottom, Tinting, Hadfield and Glossop. Let's cross the platforms now. We'll do this smartly. Any trains? No. Good. Just wander over. Of course, you would never do that in real life. You might if you work for the railway, but not as a passenger. We have posters. Support local. Shop locally. It's time to give something back to your local community. Good-o. And we also have newspapers, where you get to restock the Daily Mail. So we've got our ladybugs, our posters, our route maps, and our newspapers. There you go. This message has been brought to you by Hyde North. The other signature station on the line is Dinting, because it forms part of the Hadfield, Dinting, Glossop triangle. So trains come in and they'll take one of two paths. They'll either take the left-hand path to go down to Hadfield, or they'll take the right-hand path to go down to Glossop. And if we wander through the station, it's quite a bit of detail here. It's an interesting station. Around the back, there's a bit of a loop. So if we pop down here and do that thing that you'd never, ever, 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 ever do, you can see that round behind the station over here, there's a loop that takes you around to Glossop if you're going from Hadfield, or to Hadfield if you're going from Glossop. And there's quite a few shuttle services that run around through here. So they don't stop at Dinting Station, they bypass it. around this little loop through this little tunnel. Which reminds me a lot of the Hornby Tunnel, actually. As you can see along here, there's a lot of clutter along this route, so I think they've done it proud. And they've adopted the lessons from recent new releases, where there's plenty of stuff just hanging around. So here we are. This is Dinting. Oh, we better do a little bit of gardening while we're here. There we go. Popped in some flowers. Maybe a poster. And, ooh, better seed these newspapers. Excuse me, buddy. I just need to get to the papers if you don't mind. There we go. All good. So, what do you think of the Glossop line? Tell us in your completely unbiased message, given you're wearing a dovetail fashion wind cheater.
Ah, it's really good.
I know you'll take it with a grain of salt because I'm an ambassador, but I do actually echo those thoughts. Let's have a look at the scenarios that you get on the route. There are 6. We have waterworks, where a burst water pipe is causing major flooding and delays across the line, with many services being cancelled. Navigate through the challenging conditions and minimise any further delays. So this one's quite entertaining. You get to drive through some water. Naturally, you're going to jump out and stand in the fountain that's coming out of the pipe, aren't you? Aren't you? Aren't you? Of course you are. And there's the Gossip line, where you take part in a national competition for train drivers to take the best pictures of their line. This one's quite interesting. It's very different gameplay to what we've had before, and DTG are highly interested in your feedback on whether this is a good thing or a not so good thing. So let it rip on the forums, folks. Let them know. 3-point turn. Take your train from Manchester Piccadilly to Glossop, although all is not as it seems. I'll leave that one to be a little bit of a mystery for you. It's a bit of fun though. Depot delivery. A fault has occurred on your train and is in need of repair. Head to the depot and ensure there are not further delays. This one, as you might notice, is 50 minutes long, so there's a little bit to it because it's quite a bit longer than most of the services on the Glossop line. Again, I'll leave that mystery to you, but it's a bit of fun. And as you can tell by the silver medal, I could do better. Are you local? Trains in for maintenance means that you'll have to add some normally unscheduled stops to your journey. So it's just changing up the services a little bit and making it interesting. Now this one's pretty special. We're going to take on the role of a train guide on board a service to Manchester. I'll do a separate video on this one, but this one you actually do completely play the role of a guard, and you are properly in charge of the doors, and you even have to check tickets. So we'll do a separate video on that one because it deserves one by itself. It's really cool. This is another one where we've got some significantly different gameplay, and DTG are interested in your feedback, so jump on the forums and let them know. Good, bad, ugly, fantastic. Whatever your viewpoint is, let them know. I think it's really good. I think it's a good start. I'd love to see this extend to every single scenario. We're a while away from that, but this is an experiment to see whether people want to do that or not. So all those people calling out for guard mode, you know what to do. Alright, let's look at the services from the Glossop line now. The key or feature train is the Class 323 in Northern Trains livery, and there are 160 playable services for this one. And let's have a quick look. They range in duration from around 7 to 8 minutes for things like empty cars and stock moves and the like, up to around 30 to 40 minutes for runs through. And there are a few shuttle services that go between Hadfield and Glossop and vice versa as well. So there's quite a selection here to play, quite a lot of gameplay to be had. We have the Class 20, which layers in from Tees Valley Line, and it has 2 services that you can play. They're rail tour services. Similarly, the 37/5 comes in from Tees Valley Line, and that one has 4 services that you can play. Some of them top and tail with the Class 20 and the 37. From Midland Main Line, we have 1 playable service, but we have a lot of AI services coming into this one, which you'll see at Manchester Piccadilly from time to time. You don't see them anywhere else on the line. You might catch the occasional glimpse of them around Ardwick. We have the Jubilee from Spirit of Steam, and this has 1 rail tour service. And we have the Class 66. Now this layers in from two places. It layers in from Southeastern High Speed and the RHTT. If you have the RHTT, there are 3 playable services. And if you have the 66 from Southeastern High Speed, there are 10 playable freight services on the route. Now, the rail tour services and the freight services tend to be on the shorter side. So don't go looking out for big long runs because they don't exist on this short route. And they don't play the whole route because they're doing it relatively prototypically. So there's a bit of gameplay in the services for even such a short route, which is a bit of fun. Now, an intro wouldn't really be complete if we don't drive the train now, would it? So let's jump in this 323 and get her set up. Do our master key, get it into forwards. We'll get the doors open. I'm just using my keyboard for that. Let's turn on AWS and Vigilance and acknowledge the AWS prompt. You can, if you wish, key in and then you can use your buttons down here for the doors, but you don't have to. It's up to you whether you want to do that or not. Be careful you don't hit the aux off button by mistake. It's very, very easy to do, says he, speaking from experience. GSMR normally powers itself on. We have an active DRA that does work. DRA, if you're wondering, when you pull up to a driver's reminder, when you pull up to a red signal, you should turn on the DRA to remind you to actually look at it before you leave. Now, we've got night headlights turned on. I'm happy with that because it's a little bit dark out there, and our tail lights are off at this end, which is fine, and they'll be on down the other end. In fact, we can go down there and have a look. Why not? Let's just fly down the length of the train. And we'll just make sure our tail lights are fine. There's our VC. So I can acknowledge that from outside the train, fortunately. So there's our train 733 going to Hadfield, calling at lots of places. We're going to Glossop and then Hadfield round the triangle. Very good. We're not going to do the whole run as this intro. We'll just drive it a little bit so you can hear it. After all, you have heard this train before. Coming up on time now, a few seconds to go, so let's get the doors closing. I'm driving with Rail Driver today. Let's get the windows open actually so you can hear it at its best. Nice horn. Do you want to hear the horn from the outside? Of course you do. Now it's pretty much the same 323 that we had before. Oops, I went a little early then, the brakes had not come off. And off we go to Ashbury's Platform 1. That's as far as we're going to take this train today, because this is just the intro, but keep an eye out for some full route drives. And right at the moment of release, I will stream this thing live. So if you're watching this, and it's the first day, 24 hours before release, that's probably happening right now. We have the skies we've come to expect from Train Sim World 3 content with the time of day 4 system. So we do get magnificent sunrises and sunsets. You see there, the lights do actually work on the 323. It does sound quite nice, but of course we won't hear that from just a little while. Now this is an early access version that Dovetail have given me. The dead bugs on the windshield is a nice touch. So we make our way towards Ashbury's. We run through another platform first, but we don't actually stop at the next one. If you're lucky, you might see a Midland Trains 158 on the lines over to our right. You do occasionally see them. They run as AI. Only one train a day stops at this platform, so you won't often see people there. Coming up to Ashbury's now. At this stop I'll open the doors with the door controls. Which you can either do from here, or you can run back to the middle of the train and open up the panels if you really wanted to. Good luck staying on time if you're trying to do that though. The 323 is prototypically operative, as you would expect. There we go. Let's just key in, and we can open our doors, which is that one. So if we get up ourselves and go have a look, we've got our VC and DSD yelling at us now, because of course we left the train in forwards. Let's just jump back in the chair. That'll shut that up. Close the door. And we want to close the other doors, which is this one, this one. Which one is it? This one. There we go. And it's a bit redundant because we're buzzing ourselves. There we go. This train does sound a little bit like a Formula 1 race car as it switches up through the drive. And I think we'll leave it there because this is only an intro. So this has been the Glossop line. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this interesting and useful, and perhaps it may help you make a purchase decision. Alrighty, enjoy yourself. Thanks very much. Any comments? Chuck them down below. Loves, hates, whatever. I don't care. Chuck them in there. Let me know what you think about the Glossop line. See you later.